picked up the Chihuahua on Christmas Eve, and what happened next changed everything. I was at my sister's house, as we always are on Christmas Eve, my niece, her husband, their baby, and 3-pound Nora, the Chihuahua. I have a dog of my own, a little 6-pound dog. I pick him up all the time with one hand. I picked up Nora, and she squirmed out of my hand, dropped to the floor, and ran into the kitchen where my niece shrieked and started crying. And I stood there thinking, what's going on? What's wrong with the dog? My other niece was standing next to me, and she said, it's not your fault. And my sister came in and said, it wasn't your fault. And then suddenly, my niece's husband was cradling Nora, and my nephew was next to him, and they were racing off to the emergency vet hospital. And I thought, oh, I don't understand. Why don't they wait a few minutes and see if there's something really wrong with the dog? So I did the only thing that I could think of doing in that moment. And I said to my niece's husband, let me go. Let me take the dog to the vet. You stay here with the baby. And he said something back to me that made me feel like I was a horrible person, a villain. I had done some terrible thing. To this day, I don't remember what it was because I just shut down and my back went up. And I turned to my boyfriend and I said, we need to go. And so we picked up our bags and we left. I got into the car and I said to him, what just happened? Christmas Eve just got ruined. I went home, went to bed, and I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking, what if the dog dies in the night? The next morning, Christmas, I was hosting Christmas at my house. So I got up and the very first thing I did was to text my niece. How's Nora? She's okay. We're on our way to pick her up now. Oh, thank God, I texted back. That's the best news I could hear. And I feel so terrible about this. A little while later, I texted my sister, and I'm very close to my sister and my niece. She's my eldest niece, and I've been at every event in her life since the time she was a baby, every graduation, her wedding, everything. And so I texted my sister, and I said, I hope we can put last night behind us and enjoy Christmas together today. I'm so happy that Nora's okay. She texted me back, yes, best to put it behind us, but we won't be coming for Christmas today. What? I couldn't believe it. My mother, who was then 85 and this was her first Christmas after having double bypass and open heart surgery and a valve replacement, came to the door with all of her packages for Christmas and the gifts. And I told her, she said, they're not coming, why? I said, Mom, I don't know, I guess it's about the dog. My brother arrived with his family, and they didn't ask where my sister and her family were, so they knew. But we carried on, and we had Christmas as we always do. We opened our presents, we had dinner, we had wine. There just weren't as many people. So a couple of days after New Year's, I got an email from my niece. Dear Auntie Maureen, I hope you had a happy New Year. The vet bills for Nora were an unexpected expense. I would appreciate it if you reimburse us. Again, I'm in shock. There were all these attachments to the email, and I opened them. One said it was from the emergency vet hospital, high price, low price. I couldn't even tell how much the bill was. Then there was another bill for the follow-up visit at the vet near their hometown. So I sent it to my boyfriend. He called me immediately and he said, she didn't think this through. I said, no. I mean, if she had sent me an email that said, can you help us out? My answer would have been yes, of course, immediately. So he said, well, what would you do if this happened and it was your dog? Would you ask someone to pay you back? I said, no, I don't think I could do that to my aunt or my niece. He said, well, then you need to tell her that, but I'd give her something. I asked 2 trusted friends, what should I do? I mean, read this, email, what do you think? And they said, one person said, I wouldn't give her a dime. And the other person said, give her $100, maybe $200, just to preserve your relationship. My boyfriend agreed. So I composed a letter, which was a little bit businesslike, but I explained why I wouldn't give her the whole amount. But the most important thing I said in the end was, in the same spirit of kindness and generosity I've exhibited for your 35 years, I want to give you something. And so I gave her half. But in the past year, my niece has frozen me out of her life. And I think about it every day. And I struggle to understand how a little 3-pound Chihuahua could have caused this family rift.